Hi there. Recently I've seen a few engines up for sale where the crankcases have been damaged because people have just got a drill and drilled through the lugs, the mounting holes into their engine mount and not really thinking about it and just making these holes so much bigger. It weakens the crankcase, but more importantly, well, equally as important is it just looks a mess. And I don't know why people do it. It's so easy to mount an engine correctly, and I thought I would just do a very quick video to show one method that I use anyway for mounting my engines onto plastic mounts. Now this is an adjustable mount. It's for a 60 to 120 engine. This is a Thunder Tiger Pro 61, which I'm I'm mounting for an ugly stick. So what I've done, first of all, I locate the engine into the mount nice and firmly, and I pinch this as tight as I can. Because this is an adjustable mount, it all slides sideways for different thicknesses. Great mount, really sturdy. And what I've done is I've put a couple of bolts just to hold that nice and tight where I want it, so it's not going to be moving during the process, and I get that in the right place. Next thing I do, oops, just take out that silencer muffler bolt. Next thing I do is get a nice fine tipped pencil. This is just a rotary propelling pencil. Get that vertically, just locate it exactly where you want it, the engine. I put this as far back on the mount as possible, and then just get this and just do a hole. If you get the lead nice and strong, that's better. I'll do this side as well. Careful not to move it. And this one. If you just get the centre point of the hole, that's all you need. Right, now if I take that off, you can see hopefully you can see I've got my 4 points marked out where I need to drill through. Now one of these I've already done, and I was sort of halfway through mounting this before I decided to do this quick video. Now the options here are you can drill them out right straight away. These are 4mm mounting holes. These are 4mm cap screws, which is fine, and put a lock nut on the bottom, or two normal nuts and a bit of Loctite, or whatever you like. What I've actually done is I've drilled this and tapped it using a 4mm tap. So these will screw actually into the mount. And then I can put a lock nut, a washer and a lock nut on the bottom. Something else I would say is you often see engine lugs where these are damaged, and people have obviously just put in cap screws or some kind of bolt with no washer. I would say put a washer on and protect your engine, and then this is actually turning and screwing around on the washer and scratching the washer rather than scratching the engine. I just like my engines to look nice and not look like they're being sort of abused. So first thing we do is I will drill out this hole here, and then I will tap that. Now to drill it out, I'm going to use a hand drill. I just like the slowness, the precision of using these hand drills. And then, and the drill I'm going to be using, because I'm using a 4mm metric tap, the drill I'm going to be using is 3.3mm, which is the correct size for this size of tap. Obviously, if you want to use an imperial thread size bolt, that's fine. You'll just need to work out what size drill you need. So I'm going to locate this on the edge of my bench. I'll just move this down a little bit. There we go. And I think I'm going to put my hands in the way of this, but I apologise if I do. They just need to locate that very carefully now to get that centre. And then just very carefully drill that hole. Making sure, which is really important, and this is where a bench drill would be ideal, to get the hole vertically, so it's nice and square into the mound. So if you've got a bench drill, that is a brilliant idea. I just don't like the idea of using a hand electric drill myself, but everybody to their preference. Okay, I've now got that second hole drilled, and I'm just going to line it up on the engine, just make sure it's in the right place, which will help. Yep, I don't know whether I can actually show that on the camera, probably not, but it is, it's nicely lined up. So what I'm going to do now is get my 4mm tap. The one that's in here at the moment is it's a plug tap. What I want is the starter tap, which is that one. And then I will finish the hole with the plug tap. So I'll do it from the bottom because there's not enough room really at the top once I start to screw this in. So it's really simple, tapping these out. It's nice, soft plastic. Not as hard as doing metal where you need to use a bit of lubricant, and just check it back a little bit every so often just to get the swarf off if there is any. But to be honest, it's because the plastic is so soft, you can just run this more or less straight through. Right, now that has run the starter tap through. The starter taps, if you're not sure, they're a lot more tapered and they haven't got thread right at the very start, so you can get into that hole and get it twisted. I'll just show you when this comes out if it's... Okay. I'm not sure whether that will show, but you can see right at the very tip there's no thread. Now they do an intermediate tap, which I'm not going to bother using because I managed to get that one in so far. And this is the plug tap, where the thread more or less goes right to the very end. Okay, so now I'm going to just start this by hand, just to make sure I'm in the thread, which I am. Just fasten this on. And then we'll just wind this all the way through and make sure we've got a nice thread going all the way through this. This is so easy to do, and it's such in my mind anyway, I mean, like I say, everybody has their preferences, but in my mind this is such a good way of mounting your engines. Right, that's come out, sufficient amount there. So now I should have a nice thread going all the way through this. We'll see if that... Yep. See, that screws in lovely. Now, I will do the other two, but I will first just check this is okay. A couple of washers on the top, like I said. Won't tighten that up straight away, just Allow for a little bit of movement while I put this bolt in. Tighten both these up. Don't need to be massively over tightened. There we go. So these bolts I've put in aren't long enough. Should have measured that and checked. But essentially what I would do is put in slightly longer bolts. Don't know whether I've got any to hand. But anyway, that needs slightly longer bolts, and then I can put a washer on the back and a lock nut. Right, well I now have my engine fully mounted. I've got all 4 holes drilled, tapped. I've got washers on the top to protect the lugs. I've also got washers on the bottom just to stop the nuts screwing the plastic up. And I've also used 4 nylock nuts. And that is going to hold that really secure. I mean, if you wanted, you could always try putting a piece of, putting a bit of Loctite on or something like that. But to be honest, I don't really think we need it. And I'll be checking this, you know, pre-flight checks anyway. Perhaps not the bolts every time, but periodically. So this is how I do it anyway. It's just a suggestion. There's lots of good ways of mounting engines out there.